All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Game Link podcast. This is episode 6. Today, we're going to be talking about Hitman from 2007. So, the Hitman movie. Um, if you aren't familiar with the Hitman games, they're great. I'll be talking about them in a bit. But first of all, um, what have you been up to lately, Elmer?
Well,
How's
as
everything going?
everybody who is watching the stream right now can tell, I'm holding my hand in my head in my neck for about three different reasons. One, we're now going on about day 3 of our new year, and considering you were at my New Year's party, you can understand just about how crazy that got.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a hangover and a half.
Oh, really? I see. I left right after the ball dropped, so I don't know what happened after I left.
No, you left well before 12 o'clock. The ball falling out of my pants is not constitutable.
I was just telling my girlfriend earlier, I was saying, like, if I had $1 for every time I've just turned around and Elmer's in a thong, I'd have a good amount of money.
And then I came running out of my bedroom wearing only a mankini and a flak vest, going, "Okay, who wants to take my picture?"
It was a great time. I really enjoyed my night, and I know my girlfriend did too. She was like, "We're doing this more."
Now to get you guys over there later too would be fantastic. But
Yeah.
no, on top of that, it's a combination of just kind of a 3-day hangover I've been sporting at this point. Coupled with the fact we're talking about a topic I picked for this week. And considering I realized on my drive down to your place that, oh, wait, I might be thinking of two Kurt Wimmer movies, Equilibrium with Christian Bale and Ultraviolet starring Mila Jovovich. Oh no, I'm thinking of those two. I've never seen Hitman before. Oh no.
Yeah, I always thought you had seen this movie, but turns out that neither of us have seen this movie.
I saw Ultraviolet in the theater, so I think that's why I thought, oh, this will be a
Close enough.
close enough, right? Right. No.
Yeah, let's see. What did I do this week? I went to your New Year's Eve party. I
Ooh, that reminds me. I gotta tell you something after you talk about that. I forgot something at our New Year's Eve party, but keep
oh
going. But I
boy.
just need to remember that the thing. Talk about the thing I forgot.
uh I um I got a bunch of Sonic games on sale today on Steam. There's a big Sonic sale, so I got Sonic Adventure 2 was $2. I got like Sonic Forces for $9 and something else. But a bunch of Sonic games are on sale right now, so I took advantage of that and bought myself the only 3 Sonic games on Steam that I don't own.
And you know what, guys? If anything, anytime Sonic goes on sale, I know two things in my heart. One, my good friend Levy here is having the greatest days of his life. But simultaneously, I also know that Chris Chan is having the best day of his life. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, I love Sonic. Um
You're also hating me the fact right now that I've got Chris Chan twice, 3 weeks, and you're like,
I
you
mean,
son of a bitch.
Chris Chan somehow always comes up when we're talking, and it doesn't bother me, but it just kind of makes me sad, knowing what Christina Chandler has done recently. So I'm kind of glad that they're being a bit phased out, but um, yeah, as far as the week goes, I had got some Sonic games. I watched the new Matrix movie, which I know you attempted to watch it as well.
And I think we fell asleep around the same time.
Yeah, that movie is 2.5 hours long.
We're both
Um,
on the we're both looking down the barrel at 30. One of us passed the barrel fire at the other, but yeah, so we're both looking down the barrel at
yeah,
30.
I was telling Elmer earlier, that's a 2.5 hour long movie. I'm 30 now. I It's I just couldn't do it. I tried so hard to stay awake. I couldn't do it. The first half of the movie, though, from what I saw, I don't know. I don't think it's. I'm gonna have to rewatch it, but I don't think it's gonna be a bad movie. I just don't think it's going to live up to the expectations.
No, that was my biggest takeaway too. Like I jokingly said, I fell asleep around the same time as when he watched that. And no, I've got no ill will towards that film or anything like that. If anything, I actually was, I wouldn't say interested, but I kind of smiled a little bit on how they kind of at least redid kind of that sort of, as I said, for lack of a better term that doesn't spoil the movie, the illness of this film in terms of people being down with the sickness and understanding the zeitgeist.
Yeah, I mean the whole movie is a commentary on capitalism, basically.
No, it's just Lana Wachowski going, "Fuck you, you're not gonna touch my series without
And
my intervention."
yeah, in this movie, it's just so I don't know. It's very meta. It's a lot. It's like so much tongue in cheek. At one point, they talk about Warner Brothers wanting a reboot of whatever, and it's just a little too self aware for me.
You're not wrong. I mean, while at the same time, while I smiled when that happened, I went, okay, that's what Mrs. Wachowski is saying. At the same time, I'm like, no, I feel like she's kind of fist fucking this movie right now, going, look, it's this movie on my hand, which is now my puppet, which is shaped like Keanu Reeves, going, help, Lana Wachowski's hands. Well, you know what I mean. So no, I like some of the bits of it. I'm like, no, that is understandably. I'm like, I kind of like where they're going with this, but at the same time, it seemed a little too preachy. And the action just no, just no.
Yeah, I'll have to finish it and see. I mean, I've heard that it's a good movie, but from the first half of it, the parts that I liked were the parts where they were showing footage from the first Matrix and talking about it. So
As I
yeah,
said to Levy earlier, now how much would you pay to actually watch a commentary of the original Matrix, where it was the MST3K style, where it was a row of seats in the front there, and then it was Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, and Hugo Weaving all sitting in the theater, just eating popcorn, drinking booze, doing whatever the hell they got to do, just talking about the movie. I mean, at
yeah,
that point, perfect.
yeah. I would watch that for sure. Um, but yeah, Hitman. We'll stop talking about the Matrix. Um,
At the same time, though, don't we have to talk a little bit about the Matrix when we're talking about Hitman, though?
I mean, they're not directly related,
Uh,
aren't they?
Clean cut white dude in a suit
I
walking
mean,
around with a giant fucking handgun killing people.
yeah. I mean, that's just America, though.
True.
It's always a clean cut white guy. Sorry, I'm not trying to get controversial here at all.
No, we're not trying to get controversial or political, but no, he's not wrong, unfortunately.
So yeah, Hitman. So the movie came out in 2007, but the game came quite a ways before the movie, so I'm going to talk about that for a bit. Um Personally, I've played like multiple Hitman games. I don't know if you've ever played one.
I've not to spoil too much. I've never played one, but I've watched several friends of mine play it. So
Hmm.
I understand the mechanics of the game as well as I understand kind of the background behind it. I myself have just never played it. I've just always gotten a chance to sit back, relax, shut the fuck up, surprisingly, and watch friends of mine play it.
And see, that's kind of my thing is I enjoy watching people play it, but I'm not good at being stealthy, which is a big point of the game. If you didn't already know, you're about to find out. I am the clumsiest, most obnoxious motherfucker. Uh, I'm not good at stealth, even in a game. And I've only played like a few hours of a few of the games, but I played Hitman, I think 2 on the PS2. I played a little bit of Hitman 3 on the PC as well as Absolution. and I owned like the most recent, like I think it was like a remake of Hitman 2 or something, like 2016. I owned it on PC. I'm obviously not a Hitman expert. I'm not very good at the game, but I do love watching people like go through and like get into ridiculous disguises and just like it's kind of like a sandbox stealth killer game where you just like it's crazy just watching some of the stuff that people come up with. But
No, that's a good way of putting it. At least from a lot of the videos I've seen, and kind of how friends of mine were played back in the day. Like they tried to be stealthy, but at the end of the day, everybody ends up turning it into Saints Row of like freaking I don't know, like Splinter Cell. Just
yeah, it's great, and I love I love just like the open endedness of being able to just kind of like choose how you want things to go. Like if you want to just like be stupid and do ridiculous things, like go for it. And I love that about this game. So um, it was made by IO Interactive, which is a Danish game developer based in Copenhagen. They're best known for Hitman games, obviously, and the Kane and Lynch series.
well, Copenhagen, also the freaking snooze that people where in our town where we grew up were chewing the shit out of. But yes,
Yeah, in the Midwest, that's big news. So a little bit about the company. Like, at one point they were bought out by Eidos Interactive, which happened during the Hitman series, in 2004, and more recently they were bought out by Square Enix in 2009, and then at that point they were renamed to the Square Enix Europe division. In 2017, Square Enix ceased funding of the studio and started looking for a buyer, to which IO Interactive performed a management buyout and became the independent studio that they are now. So they bought the property back and now it's all theirs, which I love to see, especially for like a big name series like Hitman. Um, it's it's kind of rare to see like a small studio like buy out the franchise and just own it themselves and keep going with it. So they regained the rights to Hitman. But yeah, they've been through a lot. They've been bought out and sold and bought again by multiple companies and like companies that are pretty big too. So like usually when stuff like this happens, the studio ends up getting shut down because of financial reasons, after getting handed throughout a few hands, but um yeah, they've had pretty good luck and they're good at what they do. So it's great. The first game is called Hitman Codename 47. Um, it was so the original concept was a fantasy MMO entitled Rex Dominus. Um, they started production on it for a brief time, but then they were asked to stop production.
probably because their name was Rex Dominus, as in what's he gonna do? He's gonna Rex and Dominus.
Well, they were asked to stop production so that they could test themselves. So I don't know what's more dominating than that. They were asked to stop production to test themselves into making like a different style of game. So at first it was going to be like an action shooter. So it was like going to be like a run and gun style game, and it drew attention from John Will films such as Hard Boiled and The Killer.
Damn it, the fucking thing crashed when I did that.
Oh, it froze.
Now, someone who's a big John Woo, as well as fan of specifically Hard Boiled, The Killer, and showed Archangel, the masterpiece that was Hard Target this past week. Oh yes, no, those games are very much inspired by those films.
Yeah, and I'm not as big of as a movie buff as Elmer is here, but I have seen The Killer, so I'm pretty sure you showed it to me. So,
Masterpiece.
well, the weird thing about IO Interactive at the time, since they were kind of small and just starting out, they weren't able to get their hands on any like console development kits. So they pretty much decided like we just have to make it for the PC and the PC only. Um, so it kind of like limited them a little bit sales wise, I guess. But I mean, PC was a lot more capable than consoles, and I mean, it's kind of always been that case. But um, yeah, so they started working on Codename 47, um, and killing was the main theme of the game. So um, because it was on PC, especially, they kind of wanted to make it like a little bit groundbreaking. And at the time, like death animations and stuff like that were all just like canned, like pre-recorded, pre-rendered like animations of people like falling back and whatever, and they just hated that. So like to them it looked too static and boring, was a quote from the creator. So they decided to end up creating their own game engine fresh for the game. They called it Glacier, and the coders decided that they wanted to use real-time physics for all the death animations and stuff like that. So it was the first use of ragdoll physics as a main game theme and mechanic. Therefore, the death animations were like unlike anything they've ever seen, because before this they were all canned and generic. And this caught the eye of a little studio called Eidos Interactive, which became a big studio before it shut down. But they were really impressed by the Glacier engine, so they became the publisher for the game, and then later in 2004 bought the whole studio.
Are you not going to bring up what Eidos is most well known for before we get too much farther on?
Turok. And I know this, but I'm a little bit buzzed right now.
The original Tomb Raider, the original Thief, the original. God, I can't bring this up. Daikatana.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, Eidos. When I growing up, at least from my end, because I was more of a PC gamer than Levy was here. No, that was kind of my interaction with a lot of great PC games back in the day was Eidos, and oh, anytime I saw that name, I was excited. I mean, dear God, I remember seeing the original trailer for Deus Ex back in the day and going, "Ooh, this is gonna be cool."
Yeah, Deus Ex was awesome as well. But there's a funny or interesting note about that coming up here. So
I was just
um,
gonna say, let me guess, the reason they tried to acquire this content was because they were still broke from making Daikatana. I'm going, shit, we need another hit on our hands.
we we need something not made by what's his name, Raimi.
Uh, John Romero.
Yeah, Romero. That's what it was.
Close. You're thinking either Sam Raimi or George A. Romero, and you went
Yeah.
between the two. I was like, George Raimi.
But yeah, because of the new partnership between Eidos and IO, they were encouraged to stray from like the run and gun style gameplay, and instead they were encouraged to focus on methodical experiences. So this was stuff like dragging bodies around and like finding the best series of events to like perform to win the level. Um, let's see. So Hitman had a few firsts. One being the ragdoll physics that we talked about earlier, and the other was it was the first game to have deformable cloth and plants. So just depending on how much you've been through as a character in the game, like things will like change their appearance and properties, and like sort of deteriorate a little bit. So
So, if certain pieces of clothing you were to spill or to have different fluids fall onto it, it would basically either destroy or actually kind of make a mark on that article of clothing?
Yeah, like you would get like blood stains on your clothes, which would like give you away to people that happen to see you and think like things like that.
Oh, okay. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
God damn
There ain't no evidence except maybe on that. Oh God, you got that dress.
it.
Oh snap!
um but yeah, so the executive producer that was helping out with this game, he had actually previously worked on Deus Ex and Thief, which I know is a series you enjoy. So he was really driven by the whole like stealthy mechanic. Obviously, that's like a major theme in all three of these games. Um, yeah, specifically Thief: The Dark Project, which is I know your probably favorite one.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
So
apologies for the people that are listening to this. Oh no, Thief, the Dark Project is a special place in my heart. Which is funny because now I cannot play stealth games to save my goddamn life. But at the same time, oh, big part of my upbringing was playing that game.
yeah, I remember like watching you play it a few times when we were in high school. Um,
I remember going, wow, you play a lot of Splinter Cell. I mean, no, give me more Splinter Cell. Yes, I have to input that lisp sound. We both had braces back in the day.
yeah, you gotta sometimes it's just like this is just the best way to do it.
It's the best way to describe us in high school. You know what? No, at the end of the day, the Graboids from Tremors could be the Rancor from Return of the Jedi. We just gotta say it. They're both on a planet. Oh no! Just imagine a Rancor and the Pita Carku. Freaking what do you call it? What do we call
The
it?
Sarlacc pit.
The Starlight, but yeah, that could easily beat a Tremor. The Graboid. No, that could easily beat him. No, even with the Axe Blaster and the Seeker.
I mean, you gotta just think about the environment that was the weather system of Tatooine.
I mean, come on. Boba Fett could only survive one of them, and it sure as hell wasn't the Graboid. Okay, my apologies.
All right, back to.
We might have to edit that.
We won't edit that out. Um, so yeah, with all that being said, like in the game, like the storyline is you play as Agent 47, who is a genetically engineered killer with a 47th chromosome, and he has a lab rat's barcode tattooed on the back of his neck.
Sorry, 47th chromosome. Oh god. I mean, sure.
Do we have Chromosome Man to thank for this?
I'm glad you brought it up and not me. Oh god.
I'm not explaining that though.
No, don't. And if you want, cut this part.
um, but yeah, so in the game, you're this killer. You can like put on different disguises, and the point of the game is to like you get a main target that you're supposed to kill, and like try to do it undetected. So you wear disguises and you can kill enemies like being unseen. And a major part of the game is like moving the bodies out of the way. Like you can stuff them in garbage cans or down laundry chutes and stuff to like hide them. Because if another like NPC or another like character in the game sees the body or evidence of a murder, like they're gonna sound the alarms and it's gonna be a lot harder going forward. Um, so it's kind of like this weird like almost like a puzzle game or like a strategy game where yeah, you have a gun and you have all these killing tools, but you don't want to just like run in like it's Call of Duty and you can get shot 12 times before you die type of thing. It's really methodical and you think stuff through. um Stealth is the key to victory, and there's actually no way to save during the missions. So if you die, you just start right over from the beginning.
And on top of that, for the original console versions of it, I remember a friend of mine playing it, and they only had, what was it, like 5 or 7 actual save points throughout the entire game.
Well, it will save after every mission. So you can it's almost like it's a puzzle game in that way where you have just like levels you can't save during the level, but once you solve it, you don't have to play it again unless you want to.
Well, I think I might have remember he was talking about that. I just remember him talking about how there's like no save points whatsoever. So if you fuck up, you done fucked up.
Yeah, and some of these levels can take you a long time to complete. Some of them you'll have multiple targets, and like it's a whole thing.
The moral of the story is you don't fuck up AA Run. Considering that his only name throughout the entire series is Agent 47, for all we know, it could be AA Run.
it A Agent 47.
Agent 47. You don't fucked up, Agent 47.
um yeah, so one second. So the levels were bigger than other shooters levels, and they were also like state of the art, so the game was kind of like really ambitious when it came out. The NPCs were almost like drunk chess pieces, so they would just like sometimes they would, sometimes they wouldn't just like make it across the entire map and discover the dead body um like just without warning. So it was just kind of this whole thing where it kind of had a mind of its own, and it was really cool. Like I do enjoy the games, but just like the unpredictability of some of these NPCs really make it challenging and maybe a little unforgiving.
Sure, but at the same time, kind of that drunk aspect. I mean, anytime you have any kind of security detail on any kind of a, white tie affair or whatnot, is there not going to be at least a 50% chance they're either going to be high or drunk up their ass? Not both.
Well, and an interesting thing actually is at least in the more recent games, you can like poison or like drug someone's drink, and then they just like kind of get fucked up and start acting weird. So it is kind of just like fun to do that. Watch them like wander into a bedroom and pass out, and then you can just like kill them silently and nobody knows. But yeah, it's like a great game. Like IO Entertainment or Interactive. I mean, they used elements from previous games, like games that they made in the '90s, because this game came out in 2000. Specifically, they made a 1996 game called Scorcher. It had a map making system like in it, and they actually still use that system to make maps for the new Hitman games. So a tool they developed in 1996 is still being utilized.
Man, that's even worse than the Call of Duty guys.
Right? But the maps are great. I mean, I'm not complaining.
Oh, but no.
But yeah, the game released in late 2000, and it was markedly different than other games at the time, especially shooter games. Like you expected a lot of action and fast-paced gameplay, and that just wasn't the case. But it was kind of a technical marvel just because of like the ragdoll physics and like the deteriorating clothing and things like that. The thing is, critics were kind of divided on whether or not it was like worth the price. Because although a lot of people found it fun and engaging, just about as many people found it too challenging, um, or too punishing. But luckily, they've made a lot of sequels that have all been easier to understand and more fleshed out and polished and user friendly. So they've really taken off since then. But I do really enjoy these games, even though I can't finish any of them.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So yeah, that's all I got for the game.
Well, for the movie, just kind of go off of what he was saying, where basically inspiration for this film came from quite a few films. They came off of, as he said, the John Woo films, The Killer, as well as Hard Boiled, two of just the greatest action movies of all time. People who listen to us and they can hear me pine about action films, trust me when I say if you haven't seen them, watch The Killer. as well as Hard Boiled. Watch them in either the subtitled and or the actual, well, the dubbed versions. Doesn't matter. The best thing about John Woo, who later went on to do the masterpieces that are Face Off, Hard Target, not pay. Okay, not so much Paycheck. Ghost Talkers, Wind Talkers, Wind Talkers. Maybe not Wind Talkers either. Anyway,
Movies you've probably never seen.
yeah, most definitely movies you've never seen. Yeah, no, John Woo though, great action director. When he was working in his own country, but no, I mean, Face Off and Younger, great movies here in the United States. Really big and heavy influences on this film, like 100%. Um, so about the time the second game in this series came out, 20th Century Fox decided, maybe we should actually try to get in on this market because they'd already heard that Screen Gems was talking with Sega, not Sega, Konami on
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil, and they're like, well, maybe this video game market is something we should probably try to get into. So around that time, right around the time that the second, or right around the time that actually the first first Resident Evil film came out.
Which, by the way,
we're
getting to. I just.
Neither of us.
Oh, those movies are gonna be rough to watch.
Oh, you guys think we're drunk? Anyway, so 20th Century Fox buys the rights to it, and around that time they partner up with some guy who is starting to get his name a little bit in terms of the action genre, as well as being well known within the game genre and stuff like that. And not only does he want to be an executive producer on the film, but he also wants to play the main character. So that was how, until 6 weeks before filming commenced, Vin Diesel was set to play Agent 47.
No way! No way, dude!
Vin Diesel was originally supposed to be Agent 47 until 6 weeks before production. He got into an argument with Xavier Gens, director of this film, and he walked. So then basically 20th Century Fox panicked and they went, oh shit, get this script out to everyone right now. We need an actor. And fortunately for 20th Century Fox, an actor responded. See, back in 2004, there was a series that premiered on HBO. It was kind of somewhat ahead of its time in terms of that it was right after when HBO produced The Sopranos, but also way before they started doing Game of Thrones, in terms of being sort of like a hard reality take like series on like a popular genre. And this one was on the Western genre. It's called Deadwood. And in that, while it has the amazing Ian McShane as Al Swearingen, it also has Timothy Olyphant as the actual real life person. Yeah, I know you're enjoying the fuck out of it. He played the amazing. Oh fuck, I forgot his name in that show. God damn it. Real life person. Anyway,
a real life person he played,
and I can't remember the name. Right. Fuck. If I remember in the next 2 minutes, I'll throw it out there. Anyway, Timothy Olyphant played the main character of that show pretty much as Seth Bullock, Marshall Seth Bullock in the show. For 3 seasons, it was one of the highest rated shows on television, and they were ranking in just award season after award season for Ian McShane, for Oliphant, for Brad Dourif on there. They were enjoying Emmy after Emmy. And right at the end of the filming of the 3rd season, which would have been about probably late 2005 or late 2006, Timothy Olyphant went and with his young family, he went and he bought himself a house. Just thinking, oh yeah, definitely, we're slated for a 4th season. On the premiere night of the last episode, he got a call from the actual showrunner, Milch, the showrunner of the series, one of the guys who also was the creator of I can't remember now. Fuck. Anyway, it's like highbrow television series and stuff like that. Milch.
Something on the CW, likely.
I think it's kind of a little bit saying that.
Highbrow.
Yes, Riverdale season 3. Anyway, Milch gives Oliphant a call and goes, just kind of talking to him about just, hey man, I'm really happy where we get to go with this season, and I'm really happy what you were able to do with this character. By the way, HBO canceled this. And Oliphant reportedly in an interview said, "We were what?" And no, yeah, no, we were canceled. I'm so sorry, man.
But I just bought a house.
And Oliphant went, as he just said, "But I just bought a house." And Milt said, "Now, why the fuck would you have gone and done that?" So pretty much as soon as he got off the phone with Milt, she called his agent and said, "Give me whatever goddamn jobs you can get me." And one of the first scripts that popped up was for Hitman, and he said, "I'll take it."
Which he's not a bad actor. He's a great actor. He, like I was saying during the movie, all I can see is him playing that salesman from The Office. Uh which he's not a main character in The Office, but he ends up being hired like towards later in the season. He's hired as like a traveling salesman or whatever. But that's all I could see, and he is such a handsome man. But
Which,
he does not fit this role as Agent 47.
and on top of that, the funny bit is too, he said, "No, I'll do the movie, but I don't want you to shave my head." And the production staff went, "Tough titties." And they shaved his head. So apparently he's like, "Why do you gotta shave my head, guys? Come on."
Yeah, he does not look good as a bald man. Um, but Vin Diesel, that would have been fucking awesome, dude.
That's the
This
first
movie
time
might have actually been good.
I've seen Bloodshot. Those
I've seen Triple X. I know what Vin Diesel's capable of.
I've seen both Triple X's he was in, as well as Bloodshot. You're no. Yeah, no, this so no, unfortunately, right before Vin Diesel pulled out, he had been the person saying, "Hey, we got to hire this guy named Xavier Gens, who was a member of the French Extreme." Same thing as another person that we talked about earlier, Christophe Gans, who directed our movie that we talked about our first week we did this, Silent Hill. Part of that same movement where it's sort of like ultra violent, really visceral French horror and like thriller films. Xavier Gens did this movie called Frontiers, which is a fucked up movie as well.
Never heard
Like
of it.
like when they talk about like fucked up French extreme films, they mean like Inside, Martyrs, and Frontiers.
Oh.
And trust me, I don't want to talk about all three of those because I feel like I'm gonna end up on a government watch. Let's just bring it up. But Jen's got brought in on this, film the movie, and no joke, until like 4 days before the movie came out, they were doing reshoots on it. And the funny part
Oh,
is, within
really?
a month of them doing reshoots of it, 20th Century Fox basically took the movie away from Jens, said, "You're not touching this." Not only
You've
reshot,
done enough.
they reshot and they recut the movie. And I can tell you right now, having seen the rest of Jens's films, it probably would have been a hell of a lot better, but it couldn't have been any worse.
And this, like, I know we kind of like talked a lot during it and kind of were distracted with other things going on, but this movie just did not need to be.
A movie.
End of sentence. Just didn't need to be.
No. No, you are not wrong. This
like like the game doesn't need any plot. It has some plot, but it doesn't need it. It's a puzzle game. You're supposed to figure out how to kill the dude and get away with it. Like, it's fun, it's engaging. None of these things describe the movie.
Now I want to make our own version of that game where you are someone in a fucking fluffy bunny costume at a party or whatnot, at any kind of organization, and your mission is you must kill this target, and you must do it without looking inconspicuous as possible. May it be the 7-year-old child at this birthday party who's just a pain in the ass to the next door neighbor, or could it be, like a mayoral candidate that someone else is paying off to kill. I don't care, but that's what I want to see. I want to see that game on Steam. Can we get that game on Steam, please? Please.
Well, I'm sure there's something similar on Steam. It's probably just not good.
Yeah, good point. I mean, Apple they published and then they immediately pulled the "Don't Shake the Baby" game back in the day too. So bad taste is in bad taste.
Oh man. Yeah, but this is a game that didn't, I guess it had enough plot. It didn't, the plot didn't matter enough. The plot didn't matter enough for them to create a whole movie out of it, let alone 3. There's 3 of these movies, Elmer.
Oh, I know there's three of these. Unfortunately, I also know that there is a movie version of the basically the ripoff of this that is oh, what's it called? Assassin's Creed that I know we're going to be talking about sooner rather than later. And I'm like,
Oh, I
oh,
don't want to talk about Assassin's Creed. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is just a movie series that doesn't need to exist, like not even a little bit, but it does. Uh, I I can't even say it was entertaining. It was mostly just background noise.
now here's the thing though. Would it have been better in the fact? Would it be more entertaining to watch? But it also would have been worse on a filmic on a technical level. Would it have been more entertaining, or would it be less entertaining had this been directed by Yuva Bull?
Oh, please don't say that.
I know, I say his name 3 times and he'll suddenly pop up in the corner of the room and knock my lights off with a pair of boxing gloves. Yuva Bull, Yuva
uh,
Bull.
I don't think Yuva Bowl has ever improved anything. Is that too harsh?
Well, he did knock the shit out of Rich Lotex Kayanka. So, I mean, yes.
Uh,
I mean, yes, we are now shitting on the dead, but at the same time, that was a pretty shitty piece of
I feel like with how bad this movie already is, we got the best shot at it. You know?
considering we have yet to see
Oh,
the second most recent sequel.
don't make me.
No, no, no,
Don't
no, no.
make
We'll
me.
wait on that. And like I said, hey, the only reason I thought we were gonna do this one is I thought, oh yeah, I saw Equilibrium and Ultraviolet, and I mixed those two up. I'm like, I remember them being stupid. I don't remember them being that bad though. Oh,
Careful what you wish for.
this was neither Ultraviolet nor Equilibrium.
Yeah, this movie, and I feel like we should try to talk about the events of the movie a little bit, but
I don't remember.
honestly, it's just shit happening. Once in a while, they throw something in there about Interpol or the prime minister or the president or whatever, but it's just all noise in a bad cliche of an action movie.
Extremely.
And they got all the tropes. They got all the tropes. At one point, they're in a nightclub talking to a drug lord or whatever, and there's guns on the table and money everywhere. And then he does a thing where he shoots his guns cross armed like this, and then he turns around and does it full spread like this. And it's
Then he turns and he does a line of coke off the gallon.
oh my god, I almost forgot, Elmer.
How could we forget?
The drug dealer says, "I've been going over my lines," and then immediately goes to this woman's thigh, which has a line of drugs on it, and then he licks it. He licks it off her leg, and immediately Elmer goes, "That's not how coke works." And it's just like it's another one of those movies that it's like this was a teenage boy's wet dream. They don't understand how things work, but they like feeling badass.
I do like to imagine at some point, while this is in the final cut, some 20th Century Fox executive was doing a line of coke in that little screening theater guard. I got that guy. Make him the main character.
He's the one.
He's the one. Put him in the next Resident Evil film. And then they did. I actually think that guy played Wesker in one of the movies. If memory serves right.
Yeah, it's just like it was a meaningless movie with unimportant events and a forgettable experience with an actor who didn't fit the part.
An actor who didn't originally want to do the part and was pissed off to do the part.
Um, yeah, and I can't even remember the resolution to the story. If I'm being honest, I don't remember the movie ending.
Basically, he killed the right last person, and then they went their separate ways, and no one had to get killed anymore.
And that's the end of anything interesting ever happening in their lives again.
Basically, it's crying Freeman without the crying, more baldness, and more Eastern Europeans. So, like, nothing to do with crying Freeman.
Yeah, it was. I will say the movie had one strong theme, which was this is in Europe.
Let's call this movie is a living tax break.
Yeah, I just like normally I like to try to talk about the beats of the movie, but it's just almost non-existent. I mean, like nothing connects, nothing matters. No previous event has anything to do with an occurring event. But it was an action movie. So
Filmed in Europe. So it was of its time completely. You watch this film and you're like, no, this is the 2000s. You know, we've got Eastern Europe. We've got a shaved head protagonist with twin-barreled
what
pistols, still doing bullet time.
what did you say something about it being so 2000 and late?
Oh yeah, and then I say, yeah, no, 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 no. And the best part is, I could just hear Fergie coming out of nowhere and go, "I'm 2008, and this movie's 2000 and late." Considering that this movie came out in early 2007, so no, she is not wrong. Thank you, Fergalicious.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Like it just what a disappointment.
Levy,
And
I hope you know that the sequel is much, much worse.
oh, well, I'm glad we're not watching the sequel tonight because we can wait until we've exhausted all of our other options before we watch the sequel.
You realize we have at least 10 Yuba Bowl films before we get to that,
Don't.
right?
Just don't. uh, yeah, so was this a bop or a flop and why?
Sure, you want me to go first on this
I
one?
think I know what you're going to say, but I can go first if you want me to.
You know what? I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off. I'm gonna say it. Just because I grew up in this era and I've seen films, like I said, I confused this with Kurt Wimmer films. So if anything, I mistook this for Equilibrium and Ultraviolet. That is not a good thing. That makes me want to make sure that I don't have dementia. But I'm gonna call this: if you and your friends get together, you crack open a few beers, and you have, to quote the We Hate Movies guys, a couple of tall glasses of water. I am gonna call this a masterpiece of a bop.
don't. Don't.
But if you go into this as sober as I did, or I probably would have back in about 2007 when this came out. Oh no, this is a flop. And the fact this movie made over $100 million stateswide
Oh,
is a fucking miracle. None of that. You watch this movie sober, it's like
oh God.
cancer. But as a kickback, relax, and have some fun with some good friends, oh my god, this is a great time.
See, okay. I watched this movie drunk with friends, bullshitting about stuff, and it still sucked so hard, you guys. It was boring, uninteresting, poorly executed, poorly cast. Uh, I can't think of one moment during the movie where I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. Um, I can't think of one thing that was a bop. Everything about this movie was just a hard flop for me.
Okay, but was it not about the experience we had with it, or was it not about the friends we made along the
I mean, everything's always about the friends you make along
way?
the way. Uh, and I am glad that I didn't have to watch it alone, that I had one of my best friends to watch it with
Oh,
me. But I will not watch this movie again.
no, nor should you have.
I am immediately deleting this from my hard drive.
I can hear Archangel in the other room, like screaming at her computer right now. Like,
It was so bad. And don't get me wrong, Elmer and I have watched so many terrible movies.
Abraxish. One day we'll have to tell that story. That's for sure.
Space Trucker Bruce.
Oh no.
Um, just awful movies that don't need to exist, but they're just so unique in a way that they're enjoyable. You laugh at them, you laugh with them. It becomes a treasured memory. But this movie is just none of that. I want nothing to do with this movie going forward. It is not good.
Like I
Although I
said,
did have a good time.
that's what I mean. You need to get a little smashed before you watch this film. Like I said, I thought I'd seen this before. I was so very. Oh no, I was. So no, like I said, if you're gonna watch this, watch it. Just let's put it this way: if you can legally drive by the time the movie ends, you're not ready to watch it.
Yeah.
If you can fail a drug test for McDonald's, don't watch this film. Or no, sorry. If you would actually pass a drug test for McDonald's, don't watch this film. But yes, every way else, if you could pass a drug test or if you could pass a sobriety test in your car, don't watch this
Yeah, you're not gonna have a good time. But I did enjoy watching it with you, Elmer.
film.
We also had some great chicken gyros
Oh.
while we were watching the movie, which were excellent.
I
So
thought you were gonna say, which was agreeing with Archangel, those are some great sub titties. Oh, sorry, not subtitles. No. Definitely substitute.
yeah,
titties.
so there's one thing we forgot to mention. The redeeming thing about this movie is there's an attractive goth girl with a dragon tattoo on her face who does show her breasts multiple times during the movie, and it seems like that's the only reason she's in the movie.
However, the actress Ola Kayenka, who is quite gorgeous and quite actually a pretty good actress, she has now gone on to become acclaimed worldwide as a very, very good actress. And we're just like, oh, honey, why would you do that for this
Why
movie?
did you stoop so
I
low?
know. It's like, okay, we get it. Hard times for everybody, but this movie?
Yeah. I'm not complaining, but honey, you're better than this.
You look like East German Ramona Flowers. You could have done better.
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim was just 2 years away.
Which, if anyone doesn't know, Scott Pilgrim is the best movie of all time. Worth watching over 100 times in a row. Just saying.
I was there
Uh,
for 30 of those times. I can tell you right now, the entire time I was looking at him like, we're doing this again.
which I mean, unrelated to Hitman in every way. Elmer got me a Scott Pilgrim movie poster one year. which I still have, and yeah, I absolutely love that movie. But
Well, I know now I'm getting you for Valentine's Day, which is going to be an original Hitman poster.
oh, don't! I've been hurt before.
You're just going to turn that thing to the handle for your toilet plunger, aren't you?
um, but yeah, it was fun to watch this movie with Elmer, but I'm not doing it again. So,
Oh, how could I forget? Oh, how could I forget? Outside of the little scenes in the very beginning of them tattooing the infamous barcode on the back of the head of Agent 47, the rest of the clips in the beginning of this were taken from another Fox property,
oh yeah.
filmed almost over half a decade beforehand. For a little TV series created by the the god of nerds everywhere, James Cameron, for a little pilot he did called Dark Angel, which is also the first major starring role of Miss Jessica Alba. So basically, we've got the guy who created pretty much the modern god of furry movies, James Cameron, with Avatar, directing Jessica Alba in one of her major first roles in sort of a series about cloning and superheroes and shit like that. It's just like, oh my god, how are not nerds everywhere just masturbating furiously to this? And then you look at the production credits and go, oh yeah, mid 2000s Fox filmed in Canada. Yeah, no.
Yeah, but I think it was a good time. Maybe we should try to figure out what we should do for next week or the next podcast, because now that we're finally getting into
The
we're
really bad shit.
yeah, we're getting into the movies that aren't that great. We've pretty much covered almost all of the good video game movies. Maybe we should make a decision on what's next just to prepare everyone.
However, I will bring this up right now. Keep this in mind. I brought them up a little bit earlier. One of my personal favorite podcasts out there. We Hit Movies. Not to do a shameless plug for them, but at the same time, if people here who are fans of video games, you might want to hear this. They are going to do a live riffing of last year's Mortal Kombat 2021 on January 14th. It's gonna be their live, maybe not so much of a commentary, but their live review of it.
Oh boy.
Which, oh, I am so excited.
Which I've seen the new Mortal Kombat, and it's not bad.
Oh, by no means. But as they said,
But
how do you make a movie about a fighting tournament and not have a single instance of the fighting tournament in the fighting tournament?
they figured it out.
And also, I'm trying to go, how also did you make the protagonist not be someone who's a main character of the fucking game?
I don't know, but they figured that out too. But yeah, maybe we could do like Tomb Raider
Mm.
with Angelina Jolie, which just try not to think about John Cusack's balls.
You mean Brad Pitt's balls?
No, no, John Cusack, which is her father.
No, John Voight.
Oh, John Voight. Why did I say Cusack?
I
God.
don't know. I thought it was like, no. I was also gonna go, no, not John Cusack. Billy Bob Thornton's balls.
Yeah,
That
no.
happened too. Remember?
That's how you know I've had enough to drink, is when I start mixing up people's last names.
John Cusack and John Voight. Yes, those two together.
Oh, Newton says Alone in the Dark.
Oh, no.
Oh, don't.
Newton, no, Newton. When we're gonna start on the actual UFO Bowl films, we're not starting Alone in the Dark. Coincidentally, Alone in the Dark also starts off with clips from
You
Dark Angel, from clips they use for this movie. So,
you
maybe
want
there's
to
some brand synergy there, but no, we're not doing that.
you want to know the crazy thing is I bet you he's seen Alone in the Dark and he's still recommending it.
Hughes.
You bastard. Yeah, yeah, maybe like we could do like an older movie, like the Super Mario Brothers movie, or
I like that.
but that's like on the better end of the rest of the movies we have to do.
Okay, fine. How about we do one that's an older one? It's definitely
Okay.
not better.
Oh boy.
We buck up, we say fuck it, and we watch Double Dragon.
Oh god.
Yeah.
God.
We got Mark Dacascos though. We've got Iron Chef. Iron Chef America in there. Come on.
All right. I I forgot that this was on our list. But all right, we'll do double dragon. All right, so next week, double dragon. It's happening, folks.
I'll make sure that he's drunker than I am next.
Good luck. Um, but yeah. Anyway, that was our review of Hitman. Tune in next week for Double Dragon. If you would like to support us, you can subscribe on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Levy. We're live every Sunday with the podcast. Sometimes we skip a week if we got stuff going on. Um, but yeah, Sunday nights, the podcast is live. You can ask us questions or email us at thegamelinkpod@gmail.com with questions, and we'll answer them for you. Otherwise, we have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/gamelink, where you can subscribe to support us. And you'll also get access to our bonus episodes once we start doing those, as well as our Q&A sections, which we do live on Twitch.
And also, if you become a super spender on there, you also get access to our OnlyFans, which within the next few months we'll get that up and running too.
But yeah, if you're an audio listener, chances are there's a link in the description to find out where else you can listen to us, as well as our YouTube link. So anywhere you want to watch us, we should be available, and we appreciate your support.
And also to all our audio listeners out there, thank you to our sponsor, Casper Mattress. Spooning on for the better part, which is why you should be watching us via our YouTube and or our Twitch stream.
Yep. We move the couch cushions, we braid each other's hair. Yeah, we spoon a little bit.
One of us is wearing bigger pants than the other one. The short pants one climbs on the big pants one, and then we just turn over, and it just basically bum swivel action.
But yeah, if you want your name read out loud, or if you want to ask us a question that you're not able to catch us live for, send us a message on Patreon or to our Gmail account, and we'll get you taken care of. But at this point, I say the podcast is over. We're going to start our Q&A for everyone who's sticking around.
However, I'm now nominating, instead of calling it the Gmail account, we call it the G-Spot account.
All right, G-Spot account. On that note, to everybody checking us out, we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Hey, well.